Manga to anime adaptations to me is basically like a construction worker working on a bridge or a road. The manga or light novel or even their own, anime original is kind of like a blueprint that they, basically they make and then they have to basically follow the blueprint. And sometimes some anime studios such as Studio Pierrot, even A1 Pictures mainly, and some other studios sometimes like to do little budget cuts to the type of work because sometimes, they just can't adapt all of it, or maybe the manga is ongoing. And a big example of this has to be White Fox's Akame ga Kill. They basically reached to the manga's peak, and they basically had to make their own original ending. So their blueprint was more of they followed the plan than they did their own. And basically Madhouse follows the blueprint, or they did follow the blueprint for Parasite the Maxim very well. So basically it followed absolutely beautifully. I even heard the ending was the exact same as the manga. So basically this episode of Parasite the Maxim was basically I'm actually reviewing the finale episode, not any of the other episodes. I will talk about them a little bit. Basically, the past two episodes, it was Shinji versus Goto, whatever, and then Goto manifested himself into this parasite. He finally let his other parasites in and basically have a face. And I think I finally found out who the monster in the cover of the actual poster of the anime is. That was Goto, whatever. And then the other, I believe, the 21st episode, I reviewed that freaking where what was his name? Hirokawa died and he was basically human. After that, they decided to face Goto as well to get rid of Goto because it was an absolute threat. He was basically the threat. They had to cess him, and then they eventually did get rid of him in the 23rd episode. Even when freaking Migi had to basically almost sacrifice himself in a way, so basically had to go into Goto, basically, obviously, be there until Shinji basically got this little, wooden, not a stick, but it's a pipe that contains some sort of, toxin. He stabbed him, and eventually, Migi got out. Eventually, he learned a lot. Basically, being Goto, who's a superior being, Migi managed to evolve, and actually with evolution, it does have some sort of risks, so basically, he has to go to hibernation. Since obviously, I have this much power, I need to have a new body. His body was evolving, so obviously he had to go into hibernation state for who knows how long, maybe even forever. So he had to say goodbye to Shinji as well, and I was absolutely saddened, but I was really happy for Migi too, because he evolved as a character from a guy who basically had no feelings to a character who just absolutely appreciated everything in his life, and he does not regret going into Shinji's arm at all. And I'm very glad that the show went to where it was. The show did have some problem with the CG and maybe the characters, Murano's friends, whatever, Shinji himself, even, toward before episode 6, and maybe sometimes even to the episodes, they were kind of bland. I'm not personally a fan of the characters in the show. Shinji obviously did develop well, but the overall character of Shinji, I do feel bad for his losses and everything else. I'm not really a fan of it. I don't have to explain. I'm not saying this show's utter shit. Of course not. I love Parasite the Maxim. It has done its job of entertaining me every week and makes me want to come back and back again just to watch the show as well. But what I loved about this show was the whole motifs. Basically, we're talking about, how we humans are basically, we take from other species, where we take their lives, their food. We just don't give back to nature. We don't try to help the earth at all. We're savage creatures and we are the parasites. Basically, parasites are basically people try to kill other people and eat other people. Obviously, we're eating away on the earth's resources as well, which kind of cool. But I realized that because as I was thinking about, we humans depend on animals, and we're eating animals out of their own whim, and that's what parasites have been doing. They've been eating humans as well in order to survive. That's been their basically social norm, the way of living life. But they realized they had to change since Goto. They basically watched the news and Goto died, and they had to be like, oh shit, we have to change our ways. We have to basically find a way to adapt into human society properly. Otherwise, we'll just we'll die just like Goto did, or we will be basically extinct for good, basically. And Tamaruko did say that parasites can go on a diet. They can adapt their diet, and they don't need to necessarily eat humans in order to survive. And we saw some parasites also eating human lunch and actually smiling, maybe I finally got the hang of this, or maybe they smile evilly because they know that these humans don't suspect that the parasite. The whole fad of pulling your hair just kind of died out. They can all live peacefully as well. And it's how Tamaruko was kind of right, and kind of her in a way her wish kind of was granted of of living side by side as well. And also multiple messages as well, as we shouldn't try to put human human instincts or human nature into creatures that aren't human. For example, parasites. Shinji didn't really put any human nature or human instincts on Goto. Obviously allowed him to live as a parasite as well and follow his own instincts as well. And throughout the episode, freaking what's his face, Origami came, and I was like, that was Origami. I thought that motherfucker just left out of the the entire city. I thought he went to run away, but apparently he was still killing people around. And he took Satomi or Murano to the roof, and they were having this speech about how he was following his instincts as well. He was trying to follow his savage type instincts, and humans are kind of a unique creature. Actually, all creatures in a way do evolve. I shouldn't say unique, but we do evolve as a species, and we get new instincts and everything else. And Morigami, no, I say Morigami, Norigami, I can't even remember his name. Origami, there we go. He freaking the burglar thief guy, whatever, who could apparently sense parasites and monsters, just like how Kana could before she died. And I wish freaking Origami honestly died, but. And the freaking what actually had my heart almost shattered was when he freaking pushed her out of the building, whatever. I just felt so bad for Shinji, man. I don't know. I felt just terribly bad. I was like, he's about to lose the love of his life, the girl who actually accepted him. She was very loyal. I know I'm not a fan of the characters, but I am a fan of just loyal people and everything else. And I just absolutely did love Mona's character. Granted, she is kind of like a Princess Peach anyway. If you play Mario, or character who's absolutely useless and stuff, getting captured and always being frightened, but she was always there for Shinji, and she did accept Shinji. I think she probably did find out that Shinji was a parasite and a monster. He's walking in between the whole parasite world, and he's also walking the human world as well. He's in between the bridges, in between the road of a parasite and the road of a monster. Shinji did get his own ordinary arm back, but we can see that freaking Migi was still alive. Maybe the fact that well, I have no idea what I just said there, but the fact that obviously, freaking when Origami stabbed Shinji in the arm with a knife, whatever, that must have woken up freaking Migi, and Migi must have saved Murano, and then eventually did say, you do the whole thing, because I'm tired. He probably does get tired of it faster. He was there for one last time to say that, we humans have a lot of time in our hands, so maybe that's how we get sad, because when we spend so much time with somebody or something, we get very just absolutely just sad. And I do agree with them, because we spend so much time with our family, like, years and years, 30 to 40 years, maybe depending on how long we live, and eventually did it just disappear, and we got so used to that person, so much that organism, or that pet, dog, parrot, bird, human, just even technology itself, which is weird, but we do get sad when things just go away. And that's kind of how we humans are as well, and we do depend on others as well. We humans are social creatures, as my sister said best. We humans are social creatures, and we do need to interact with other humans, even interact with animals and nature itself. So we do need the earth. We do, we're basically neighbors. We should not force our human type instincts into other species. And it's kind of human ignorance to say that we